Hi, I'm Angela Chuang, and I'm a biologist at the University of Florida. I'm not just any biologist, I'm an arachnologist. Can you guess what that means? So if you guessed an arachnid biologist or a spider biologist, then you're absolutely correct. And so we can figure that out by breaking arachnologist down to its roots. So arachno is the Greek root for arachnid, which is any eight-legged arthropod with two body segments. And this includes groups like spiders, scorpions, harvestmen, and a lot of other organisms. And as you may know, an ologist is someone who studies some branch of knowledge. And so an arachnologist is someone who studies spiders in a scientific way. And so you might be wondering what an arachnologist does in order to study spiders. And the thing is, we all do something slightly different. And that's because there are a lot of different ways to study spiders. Some of us are interested in the behaviors of spiders and understanding, why do spiders do what they do? Others of us are interested in spiders' interactions with the plants and animals around them, right? And so we might be interested in how spiders eat insects that are oftentimes pests of the foods we eat. And still others work with spider genetics. They work with spider DNA, they work with spider fossils, and they're interested in the evolutionary relationships between different spider groups. So by now, many of you have probably watched the production of Charlotte's Web, or you might be familiar with the story. And a lot of people really enjoy Charlotte as a character, but are pretty scared of spiders in real life. And that's okay, that's pretty common. And I myself was a really, really big arachnophobe for most of my life. In fact, it wasn't until I was 21 and went to college and took a spider biology course that I got over my fear. And I think I got over my arachnophobia because I gradually learned more facts about spiders. And over time, I found them really fascinating, just in terms of how they live their lives, how they behave, and the way that they interact with animals and living things around them. And so my hope is that by learning a little bit more about spider facts today, you might come to appreciate spiders and kind of their role in our ecosystems. So it's been a really long time since I've read Charlotte's Web myself, but in hindsight, I think it's really neat that the book includes a spider character, and it's one that teaches people that spiders are, harmless, and that they're totally fine around people. And that's very much true in general, right? So if you live in North America, you should know that for the most part, all the spiders that you encounter, except for brown recluses and black widows, are going to be harmless. And, pretty much no spiders are aggressive and going out of their way to attack or harm humans. And so today I thought I'd answer a couple of questions that might have come up if you're familiar with the Charlotte's Web story. Okay, so first off, are there any spiders that are like Charlotte in real life? Well, yeah, I think it's really cool that Charlotte's full name is Charlotte A. cavatica. And it turns out, she's a barn spider, and the scientific name for barn spiders is A. cavaticus, which is short for Araneus cavaticus. And so these are spiders that live in North America and are primarily found in northeastern states. And it turns out that these spiders really like to make their webs on wooden structures. And so this is why we find them a lot in barns where they'll build webs over wooden beams, and they also really like to build over our doorways. And so if you ever come across a barn spider, you should give them a wave because they were the original inspirations behind our beloved Charlotte. You might also wonder, well, do all spiders make webs just like Charlotte? And the answer to that is no, not all spiders make webs at all. In fact, there are some spiders that just primarily hide out in flowers. These are our sit-and-wait predators. They hide out in flowers, they tend to be really well camouflaged, and when insects visit these flowers, they'll actually go and ambush them. There are other spiders like wolf spiders that are, primarily running around on the ground. And they are very agile, they have great eyesight, and they can actually basically run down their insect prey items like that. And so most of the webs that you see are from spiders that are going to make these webs in order to capture their insect prey. Another question you might have might be, well, can spiders actually write in their webs? And so, barn spiders belong in a group of spiders known as orb weavers, and we know that they make these kind of flat, two-dimensional webs, and that makes it really easy to see things that are caught in the webs. And so, while spiders in real life do not write words in their webs, some orb weavers do make special designs in their webs with extra bits of silk. And we call these web decorations. We can also call web decorations stabilimentum. And so some spiders have an X-shaped web decoration, others have a big circle in their webs, and still others highlight their webs with a dotted line of extra silk. And so while the spider that you're seeing is not a barn spider, it's actually something called the spiny-backed orb weaver, you can see an example of these web decorations here, where you can see kind of an extra bit of silk here that's really obvious. And we think that maybe the author of Charlotte's Web, E.B. White, might have seen these types of web decorations, and that might have inspired him to think about a spider that was capable of writing words in a web. So why do spiders make web decorations in the first place? So this is actually a hotly contested question among arachnologists, but we have a couple of different ideas. So the first one is that these types of web decorations might just make a web more visible, right? And this could be important because that means we're less likely to run into webs. And this is especially true for things like flying birds, but also for humans, right? So if you've ever run into a spider web before, I'm sure you wish you had seen that web just a couple seconds earlier so that you could have ducked out of the way. And so by not running into a spider webs, we save it a lot of work that comes from repair. Another idea is that these web decorations can help them attract more insects. So it turns out that spider silk oftentimes reflects UV light in a way that attracts certain flying insects that they eat. And so by placing more silk onto their webs, they might actually be kind of increasing the number of insects that visit them and thus increasing kind of their food source. Okay, so that was just a little bit about the world of spiders. And so if you found this stuff interesting, I highly recommend that you stop next time you see a spider and just observe it a little bit. So this could be a spider in your home, in your yard, or somewhere outside. And who knows, over time, maybe you'll become like Wilbur and make some of your own spider friends.